So good evening everyone. My name is Maurya Hanspal, and in this session we're gonna continue our sessions on financial literacy. And this is, to be precise, this is the financial literacy session number 3. Yeah. So we're here in the financial literacy session number 3. Okay. So in the previous session we talked about the 50-30-20 rule, if you remember. This is how we talked about the 50-30-20 rule, and we were talking about the biggest drawback of this 50-30-20 rule. And what was the major drawback of this 50-30-20 rule? The major drawback of this rule was it says that 20% keep as savings. But it does not say about the concept of inflation. Because ultimately inflation is eating away your money. Inflation is महंगाई. अगर हम सिंपल भाषा में बोले महंगाई. Because आगे जाके तो महंगाई बढ़नी है. At an average rate of 4 to 6%, inflation rises each year. Okay, so that 20 rupees that you are saving out of that 100 rupees, it won't make much sense. एंड इवन इफ यू आर कीपिंग इट इन द बैंक अकाउंट 3 से 4% का रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा और 4% की तो इन्फ्लेशन ही होगी. 3 - 4 तुम्हें 1% मिल नहीं रहा, तुम 1% तुम लूज ही कर रहे हो. वो 4 - 3 नहीं है, वो 3 - 4 है. ओके, अल्टीमेटली यू आर लाइक गिविंग मनी टू द बैंक कि आप रखो, आप हमारे पैसे को यूज करो एंड उसको बर्बाद करो. ओके, तो दीज थिंग मस्ट बी क्लियर. तभी मैंने यहाँ पे जाके इन द सेकेंड स्लाइड आई टोल्ड अबाउट दिस पॉइंट कि इट इज बैड टू जस्ट सेव मनी. People who are a student of economics, who have a basic standing of economics, which everyone must have, they know that savings are the leakages to economy and investments are the injections to economy. What did I say? I repeat it. What did I say exactly? I said savings are the leakages to economy and investments are the injections to economy. And why did I say this? I said this because when you are just saving money, your money is being eaten up by bank or by inflation. That's it. Whereas if you're channelizing your savings into investments, if you're channelizing your savings into investments, ultimately the stock market will grow. Ultimately, the GDP of the company will grow and you would be a bigger contributor towards GDP. People are talking about tax, or like how we need to avoid tax, or they're talking about tax evasion, like which is legal, and they talk about like tax avoidance, and they're like trying to shift their money from one area to another, like where there is low tax or no tax. All these things, like they are doing it, but no one is thinking about how will your investments stabilize economy. Why is the US market the biggest market? Because a large proportion of people invest in stock markets, but still in India, even after this COVID-19 boom, where a large number of people started to invest in stock market for a passive income, still a large number of people are fearful. The stock market mein nahi karna, invest in stock market is very risky. Okay, but that's not the thing. You need to invest in stock market, and until and unless you are not converting your savings into investments, or you are not channelizing your savings into investments, that won't work at all. That won't work at all. So these things you need to know very clearly. अगर आप अपनी सेविंग्स को इन्वेस्टमेंट में चैनलाइज कर ही नहीं रहे हो, तो अल्टीमेटली योर वेल्थ वोंट इंक्रीज. Inflation will eat up your money, and if you think about the country, if you want the country to be a 5 trillion economy in future, you need to do investments. And that is the main thing, because if you're investing in equity markets and stock markets, Nifty or Sensex, it gives you an average rate of return of 15% every year. प्रोवाइडेड कोई रिसेशन आ गया, कुछ भी आ गया, बट अगर रिसेशन भी आ जाता है ना, तो उसके बाद मार्केट गोज ऑन अ वेरी हाई बूम जो पास में नहीं हुई होती. द सेम एग्जांपल कोविड, 1 साल मार्केट डाउन रही, उसके बाद मार्केट वॉज ऑन अ बूम एंड डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स वर गिविंग मोर देन 100% रिटर्न्स. तो वो बैलेंस आउट हो जाता है. एंड इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टिंग, अगेन योर रिटर्न्स वुड बी बैलेंस्ड आउट. So do not worry by the temporary fluctuation in the market as we have seen recently because of the increase in the bond yields in the US market. अगर तुम लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर हो, मार्केट अगर 5000 पॉइंट्स भी क्रैश कर दे, यू नीड नॉट वरी, क्योंकि जब बढ़ेगी तो बहुत तेजी से बढ़ेगी. बट इफ यू आर अ ट्रेडर एंड यू वर्क ऑन स्विंग एंड स्कैल्प ट्रेडिंग, देन यू स्विंग एंड स्कैल्प ट्रेडिंग आई मीन मतलब कि सेकंड्स में खरीदना है बेचना. ओके, so that is the thing. So that can affect you. But अगर तुम long term investor हो, these short term market fluctuations should not affect you. And those people who invested in this COVID-19 pandemic when the market was very low, they got huge returns, huge returns. So you need to channelize your savings into investments. And until and unless you're not channelizing your savings into investment, it won't work for you. Because देखो 6% का भी इन्फ्लेशन है, 15% तुम्हें गेन मिलता है, 15 minus 6 still 9% is far better than losing 1%, राइट? सेविंग अकाउंट में पैसा रखा था और तो फिर भी तुम्हें 3-4% मिला, एंड 4% की इन्फ्लेशन होगी, 1% लूज कर दिया। तो अगर 15% भी है, तुम 4 भी लूज कर रहे हो, तो 11% तुमको मिल रहा है। इन्फ्लेशन अगर हाईएस्ट लेवल भी हो गई, 6% भी होगी, तब भी 9 मिल रहा है। तो दीज थिंग्स मस्ट बी क्लियर टू यू, यू आर नॉट अर्निंग एनीथिंग इन द सेविंग अकाउंट। वेराज अगर तुम सेविंग अकाउंट में भी पैसा नहीं रख रहे, सारा कैश इन हैंड रखते हो, फिर तो भाई सत्यानाश। Literally, you won't earn a single penny and you will be losing every second. जितना पैसा you're keeping under the table, under your pillows, blankets, everywhere, you will be losing that money. Be it in crores or millions or dollars. Up till certain time, like you will be able to use that money, but a time will come when you'll start to realize, काश इतना सारा पैसा था, like we would have invested it somewhere. So these things must be known to you. So it is not, that's why I said it here. It is bad to just save money. It is bad to just save money. You need to channelize your savings into investments. And the second point I emphasized upon here is that the second point I usually talked about is FDs are not always bad. There might be a lot of people you might have heard about, and there are like two sets of people, and they give like two reasons. The one set of people says invest in FDs only and do not invest in stock market. And the reason they say to do not invest in stock market is, in stock market you won't be getting मतलब कि लेस रिस्क, क्योंकि वहाँ पे रिस्क बहुत होगा, जो मार्केट गिरेगी तो पैसा डूब भी सकता है, and at that time you might want your money back for some contingencies or needs. So they give like this justification. Whereas the other people are those who say do not invest in fixed deposits ever, just invest in stock market, because stock market will give you a higher rate of interest. Because that times have gone when the fixed deposits used to give us a rate of interest of 8%, 9%, 10%. Now they just give 5.7% or 6%. And अगर 4.5 की भी इन्फ्लेशन है, यू आर जस्ट अर्निंग 1%। देख के लग रहा है कि 5% कमा लिया हमने, 6% कमा लिया, बट अगर 4% की इन्फ्लेशन है, तुम 6% नहीं कमा रहे, तुम बस 2% ही कमा रहे हो, तुम 4% तुम लूज कर रहे हो। ओके, एंड दैट इज द लॉजिक दे गिव. But all these both parties on this like left hand side who focus on FDs and on the right hand side who focus on stock market and not on FDs, those are only the one-sided arguments. Those people are not taking into consideration the bigger picture. जो FDs के खिलाफ है बोल रहे हैं यार FDs का नाम भी लोगे तो आपसे हम बात नहीं करेंगे, ठीक है? जो FDs के प्रिय वो कहते हैं कि स्टॉक मार्केट इज अ गैम्बल. Why are they not looking at the bigger view? What I say as a financially literate person, invest in both. Invest in stock market, invest in FDs also. But keep them separate. Do not confuse your FD money with the stock market money. Keep them separate. And do not consider fixed deposits as a purpose of investment. Consider only stock market as a purpose for investment, because ultimately in the long run, stock market would be giving huge returns and not fixed deposits. But now the question arises, if fixed deposits are not giving huge returns, and we're saying to separate fixed deposits from investment, then why to invest in fixed deposits? Then the second set of people must be avoided and all. No. Keep fixed deposits only for the purpose of contingencies or for the purpose of emergency funds, and not for the purpose of investments. This investment term must be reduced. लोग बोलते हैं आप FD में कर लो इन्वेस्ट वर्ड ही हटा दो, FDs में पैसा डाल दो. Yeah, you are putting your money in a fixed deposit just to save yourself from contingencies or emergencies. And why? Just in case the stock market crashes and your wealth, like it turns out to be zero or negative, it will take some time to be positive. Okay, so since it will take some time to be positive, and at that time like you require some money, fixed deposits are the safest one. वहाँ पे like you'll be getting a fixed rate of interest, and वहाँ market में चाहे boom हो चाहे recession हो, the fixed deposits won't be affected. You still will get that whole amount. You can break that FD and get that money. So keep FDs only for the purpose of emergencies and contingencies. That's it. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं सोचना. And do not confuse your fixed deposits amount with the investment amount. Keep them separate. You have to keep them surely separate. These things must be taken into consideration always, as you say. इस चीज का ध्यान रखना. Okay, this must be clear too. So keep your FDs, but do both. Do both. Do both FDs and fixed deposits. You need to do both. And need to like divide that 20%. और वो देखा जाए तो 50-30-20 रूल में 20% is very less. Try to increase that 20 to 30-40. तभी 40 में अगर आओगे 50% है तो 40% नीड्स में कर रहे हो, 40% इसमें कर दो सेविंग्स में, and remaining 20 wants में डाल दो. तो 40 का 20 can go in FD, so and like 20 can go in equity, and like 15 can go in equity and 5 can go here. And FDs में स्टॉक मार्केट से ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करना. That should be like very very clear to you. So this is something which you should know about FD, stock market, ये सब, and talking about that, taking into consideration the impact of inflation as well. So these things must be very much clear to you. Okay. Then coming to the next one. People say that women are risk averse. And that is the biggest myth or mythology that must be removed from the minds of people. And this is the stereotype which people believe in, that women are risk averse. And what do I mean by risk averse? By risk averse, I mean the people who are reluctant to take risk, who cannot take more risk. And only the men are supposed to invest in stock markets. Only men invest in stock markets, or like talk about stock markets on the platforms. And still, on a large number of TV shows like CNBC and C Business, we see a huge proportion of men as compared to women talking about stock markets. But that's not the truth. Even women can invest in stock market, and they're not always risk averse. People concern women to be more emotional. Agreed, they are. Even men are emotional. But talking about the concept of risk averse is something different. Everyone can be risk taking in the market. And that is why one must clearly emphasize on increasing financial literacy and empowerment among women as well. So that huge number of women can invest in stock market also. The present data shows still a large number of men, they invest in stock market as compared to women, and the difference is very large. In order to like reduce this difference or remove this difference, this methodology must be removed from the minds of people, that only men can take the risk. Okay, women are risk averse and all that stuff. We need to remove all this phenomena from the market. Okay, so which I believe that women are should not be like risk averse. They must take the risk of investing in stock market, because ultimately they also have the right to earn huge wealth and take some risk. And ultimately they must also segregate their investments into FDs and equity. Okay. Like see, like when we invest, like it is not always about FDs and equities. The people can also invest in bond markets, because ultimately the bond markets or debentures or these fixed securities also give you a rate of return. You can invest in government securities. You can invest in short-term instruments. There are large number of instruments to invest in stock market. And I've clearly talked about all these instruments in my previous session, like when I talked about ways to invest in market. And all those ways to invest in market wale sessions on YouTube are available saved there. Okay, so you people can watch those sessions. So that thing must be clear to you. See, apart from equity and fixed deposits, which I do not consider as investment, there are other ways to invest in market also. They must be clear to you and very much clear to you. Okay, so make note of that thing and be clear with it.